Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm back from a little trip to Scotland. We went up to visit my father-in-law and my sister-in-law. We also saw my daughters on the way up, and then on the way home and on the way up we stayed with some friends in the north of England, and on the way home we also attended a family funeral. So it's been a really busy 10 days or so, and I've got 2 days at home. Well, no, 3 days at home. Today, tomorrow and the day after, and then I go off to Norway. So I haven't got a lot of time at home, but I did a lot of knitting and a lot of crochet while I was away. I finished some stuff, made some good progress on some other stuff, and I've got some video from Scotland to share with you, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting and crochet patterns, and I teach knitting and crochet workshops online and in person. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I also sell yarn through my website, YarnAddict.co.uk. At the moment, I'm just reopening it after I film this video, so it'll be open by the time this video goes live. My website will be open again. I have still quite a lot of yarn in my reduced section. I have some Symphony, Viva and Terra. I have Manos of Uruguay, Fino, Allegria and Marina, and maybe a little bit of Silk Blend, a skein or two, I can't remember. And I think that's it, all in the reduced section on my website. My website will close on Sunday, the 9th of August at 6 p.m. and it won't reopen until early September, like the first week in September sometime. I'm coming back from Norway on the 8th of September. I'm going to be gone for 30 days. Yeah, a long time. So my website will be closed while I'm away, just because it's too difficult to get my husband to do any orders and stuff, so I just close it when I'm not here. But if you do watch this video over the weekend, do go and check out the reduced section, because I will make my husband do a post office run for me on Monday if I get any orders this weekend. I also have a discount every week this month on my online courses, because it's my birthday later this month. It's not for another couple of weeks, but I'm doing a discount on my online courses every week. A new one starts every Friday. I think I forgot to talk about it in my podcast last week, because I forgot that last week was supposed to be the first week. So make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, because it was in there. And occasionally I'll forget to mention stuff in my podcast, but it will be in my newsletter. So this week, my online course discount will be on my Successful Brioche Knitting online course. So you will learn everything from 1-color brioche, 2-color brioche, basic 2-color brioche, to adding increases and decreases to get beautiful brioche patterns, to knitting brioche in the round, fixing mistakes, and picking brioche, picking up drop stitches, all that kind of stuff. And it does include some patterns as well. So I'll link that below. You'll get 15% off with the code BDAY26. So all one word, BDAY26. I'll pop it on the screen below and in the description below as well. And then next Friday there'll be a new discount on a different course, so make sure you don't miss out, because last week I forgot to mention it on the YouTube video. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Threads especially, and make sure you sign up to my newsletter, and then you won't miss anything. I have quite a few workshops coming up this autumn. I have several at Black Sheep Wools near Warrington. I think they're all fully booked now, except for my finishing techniques, which is in September. I think there's like 2 or 3 spaces left on that one, and it's perfect if you've done a bit of brioche knitting, but you want to move on to the next level. So you want to start adding increases and decreases to create beautiful patterns, or if you learn basic 2-color brioche, but you feel like you need to build your confidence a bit before you move on to more difficult patterns. So I think I've got 4 patterns now, all different difficult levels, 1 very easy and 1 a little bit more difficult, and then 2 slightly more difficult. So there'll be an option for everyone, whatever your level of brioche knitting you have. So I'll link that below. I'm also teaching at Yarndale One workshop is fully booked. I'm teaching miter squares and filet crochet. I think that's it. Linked up below as well. And then I'm teaching at the Knit and Stitch show in Alexandra Palace in London in October and Harrogate in November. Teaching loads of workshops at Harrogate. I'm only doing 4 at Alexandra Palace, but I'm doing a lot at Harrogate. So I'll link all those below as well. And there's also a discount code there for some money off a day ticket, I think it is. So all those details will be in the description box below, and also, of course, in my newsletter. Okay, let's get back to what we were doing in Scotland. So into Scotland, my sister-in-law and her husband live in Scotland, and my father-in-law moved up to live near them in March this year, I think it was. He's in sheltered housing. He's doing a lot better. He misses Cornwall because he's lived in Cornwall since he was 18, I think. So he misses Cornwall a lot, and he had a lot of friends down here. But he needed a little bit more support than he could get living at home. So he's moved into sheltered housing near my sister-in-law, and that seems to work quite well. He's doing really well up there. And this is the first time we've been up to see him since he moved. And it was a lot cooler in Scotland. We haven't had the crazy hot temperatures down here that the rest of the south of England have had. We've had sort of high 20s. It's hit 30 a few times, but we haven't really had temperatures above 30, unless it happened last 2 times I was in Norway, but certainly not while I've been home. But we have a sort of mid to high 20s, which for me is more than hot enough. And in Scotland, it was about 10 degrees colder than it was down here. So I think when we left here, it was about 25 degrees. Arrived in Scotland, it was 15 degrees. One of the areas we drove through in Scotland on the way up was 10 degrees. I remember watching it on the car because I was driving, watching it drop. And when it hit 10 degrees, I was thinking, I don't know if I brought warm enough clothes for this. Should I have brought gloves and a winter coat? But it was around 15 to 18 degrees most of the time, which was pleasant. A little bit of rain, but not too much. But we did quite a lot. I also did quite a lot of knitting and crocheting while I was there. So I'll talk a bit about what we did in Scotland, talk a bit about what I've been knitting and crocheting, got some video to show you for some of the things we did, just short clips, and then also talk about what I'm taking to Norway with me. I am quite tired because we got home at 9 o'clock last night. We drove up to Scotland over 2 days. First, we drove up to we drove up over 2.5 days. First, we drove up to my daughter's in Wales to drop the dog off, and we went out for a meal with both my daughters because it's my birthday later this month and I'll be away. So we went out for a meal. The evening we spent with them, stayed with them overnight. Then we drove up to Lancashire to stay overnight with some friends, took them out for a meal. And then we drove off to Scotland because we are almost as far away from where my sister-in-law lives as you can get in this country. Because we're in the far southwest and they're in the far northeast of Scotland. So we drove up on the second day, and then we had 5 full days there, and then we drove back down to Lancashire, stayed with our friends, and then we drove to just south of Birmingham to attend a family funeral yesterday. It was a small funeral because of small family and circumstances and things like that. And then there was a lovely lunch afterwards, which was really nice. And then we drove home. So I am quite tired. So if I don't make any sense, I apologize. Right, what should we talk about first? So let me first share one of the first things we did in Scotland the day after we arrived. We went to a town called Lossiemouth, which is just around the corner from where my sister-in-law lives. It's a beautiful little seaside town, lovely beach. We didn't actually go on the beach, but we went for a walk around the seafront. And I'll pop a video up here while I'm talking. Went for a walk along the seafront, and we got ice cream, which was very, very tasty. There's some really nice ice cream in Scotland. On the way up in the car, I was working on my socks. I'd finished one of these socks before we left. I finished that last time I came back from Norway, so I took the other one with me. When we left, I can't remember which one I finished coming back from Norway and which one I finished on this trip, but I'd basically done the toe and I did most of the foot in the car over the 2 days we were driving up to Scotland. I think I got to possibly the end of the heel shaping, so I decided when I was doing this one, because of the variegated sort of speckled nature of the yarn, that I would do gusset and heel flap rather than an afterthought heel. If I'm using a self-striping yarn, I prefer to do an afterthought heel because it doesn't interrupt the stripe pattern. But for solid or variegated or just random colours, I like to do a heel flap and gusset because they fit my feet a lot better, because I got quite a high instep. This part of my foot is quite high. So I used my creme caramel pattern, which is my basic toe up sock pattern, with a gusset and a heel flap, and it has like extra information in there, so if you're new to knitting socks, it's easier to understand. And it's the one I use for my toe up, basic toe up sock knitting workshop. So you can see there's like an increase line here for the gusset, and then I did a German short row heel turn and then the heel flap. So I think I got to like by here on the way up, and then I did knit a little bit up there. We had one day last weekend, we took my father-in-law out for the day and we went on the Keith to Dufftown Railway. We drove to Dufftown, and which is about 40 minutes I think to drive from where my father-in-law lives, and I'll pop a video up while I'm talking. And we had lunch at a cafe in Dufftown, loads of cafes there. And then we got this train. It's supposed to be a steam train, but because it's so dry and there's been a fire burning in the Cairngorms for a while, which we saw, I think we saw it on the way up. We saw in the distance some smoke rising from the hillside, and we drove through an area where there were, which may have been from last year's fire, where the bottom of the trees were sort of charred, they were black. Because it's been so dry, they're not allowed to run steam trains, the steam locomotives, so it was a diesel engine instead, which was fine. But it was a really lovely old train, goes through beautiful area, beautiful scenery, a couple of distilleries, Glenfiddich, which apparently is not pronounced Glenfiddich, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it in Scottish, but Glenfiddich, another distillery as well, and went to Keith. It stopped there for like 15 minutes or so, and then we went back again. So that was a really nice short trip, about 40 minutes each way, I think. So yeah, we quite enjoyed that. My father-in-law enjoyed it, even though he did sleep for part of it, which he denied. He's going to be 90 soon, so he does fall asleep quite regularly, but he won't admit that he falls asleep. So I did a little bit of work on the sock on the train, not a lot, because I was also taking pictures and filming. And then I knitted the rest of the sock on the way home. So when we left, first day we drove to Lancashire, I did most of this. I think I just got to start of the or did I finish all of it on the way down? No, I think I got to the start of the rib, and when we turned off the motorway, the road was quite windy, so I put it down because it was making me feel slightly car sick. And then in the evening at our friends, after we came back from dinner, because we took them out for a meal again, I finished this sock and did the cast off at the top. This yarn is Truly Hooked. I'll pop her website on the screen, and it's her Formula 1 collection that she released last year, end of last year. I think she may have repeated it this year. I don't know whether it's available on the website now. But this colorway is Lando's Helmet, which if you're into Formula 1, you will recognize the colors. Lando Norris, the world champion from last year. And the pattern, as I said, is my creme caramel pattern. So I'll link to the pattern below. So if you want to go and grab it, you can. It's available on Ravelry and Payhip. So I'm glad those are finished because they've been on my needles for a long time. The main project I was working on while we were in Scotland was my crochet project, my new crochet sweater. By the way, when we were in Scotland, because it was a bit cooler, I wore my crochet sweater that I finished. Well, I had to redo the sleeves. I only finished it just before we left for Scotland. The one I crocheted in Pixie yarns, I'll pop a picture up on the screen here. Wore that a lot on the chillier days. Because it's crocheted in wool, it's a little bit on the warm side, even though it's 4-ply. But there were days when it was cool enough to wear it. And then the rest of the time, I wore my knitted lace Sunless Garn Tin Lina, which is the linen cotton viscose blend. Which I knitted in Norway last time I went, I finished it the day after I came home. I wore that a lot as well because that's quite thin and it's cotton, linen, viscose. It was lovely to wear. So I wore that a lot as well. The problem is, and I didn't think it would do that, but it does. If I'm wearing black, I take it off, you can see there's a bit of residue from the fibers on my sweater, which is a bit annoying, quite frankly, because I didn't think it would shed like that, but it does. But I wore that a lot. I'll pop a picture up on the screen here as well with that. So I wore my crochet and knitted sweater a lot. I'm taking the knitted one to Norway. I'm not going to take the crochet one because I am working on a new crochet sweater that I didn't think I would work on that much in Scotland. I took a deadline project which is due in September. I think it's like 2 weeks or so after I come back from Norway. So I do have time to work on it. And I did consider not starting it till I came back. And then I thought before we went to Scotland, I will start it just because I think it's better to get it over and done with. So I started it and I thought I'll try and make that my main project in Scotland, but also take this crochet sweater so I can get started on that. And I must admit, I took 4 balls of yarn in total. I think I 3 balls I think I took. I can't remember. But I worked on this a bit in the car on the way up and I was knitting on my sock, and I've used 3 balls on the back and I've knitted quite a lot on the back. I stopped because I'm a bit worried. I mean, I actually stopped mid-row or nearly at the end of the row because I'm a bit worried about how long I can make it while also having enough yarn for the sleeves. So I'm going to, this afternoon, I'm going to compare this to my other filet crochet sweater because I'd like this a little bit longer. So the one I made from the pixie yarn, I only have 400 grams. This one I bought 500 grams, but this has slightly less meters per 50 gram than the pixie yarns does. So this is Rowan Summer Light 4-ply, which is 100% cotton. I got a black sheep wools when I was there last time teaching. It was in the sale, so I got a great bargain. And I did 3 balls on the back, and then I did the front. So I did the left front. Hang on. I picked up stitches, or I crocheted along the top edge here, and I did the front to the neckline shape, end of the neckline shaping. I did the same with the right shoulder, and then I joined at the front of the neckline shaping. Can you see that? And I just did enough till I ran out of the 4th ball of yarn, because that's all the yarn I had with me. I've tried it on. I'm not going to try it on now because it'll mess with my mic, but I like the neckline shaping. So what I'm going to do now is I might actually, before I do anything else, crochet the edging around the neckline shaping to make sure I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to do the front the same length as the back, and then I'm going to do the sleeves just to make sure they're long enough, and then I'll use whatever I have left to make the body the length I want it to be. I think that's the plan I'm planning to do. So it's got a filet pattern. Can you see it? It's like a sort of zigzag pattern. Probably looks better on the darker background, but I'm really happy with it. It looks really good. I worked on it whenever we were just chilling in my sister-in-law's house. I worked on it. I thought I would alternate between this and my deadline project, but I didn't. I ran out of yarn on Monday, I think, or Sunday evening maybe. So Monday evening and Tuesday evening I worked on my deadline project, and then on the way home I finished the socks. So this weekend I'm going to try and focus on my deadline project. I have put a ball of yarn in here, so if I want to work on this I can. I might actually just try and do the neckline today so I can make sure I'm happy with that. And then my plan was to pack this in my backpack like this for going to Norway. So when I go to Norway, because I go so often, I have clothes in Norway. So I only take a backpack, but I have last time and this time, I've tried to take some extra clothes with me. And this time I want to take a pair of thin, stretchy kind of wide leg jeans with me, because summer in Norway is kind of over by now. Schools go back next week, I think. And as far as the regions are concerned, summer is over. It is still low 20s, and I think it's going to be low 20s for most of the time I'm there, so it could still be quite warm. But Norway, summer is coming to an end in Norway, so it could cool down, especially towards the end of my stay. So I thought if I take my jeans with me, and then I can leave those in Norway for next time I go, And then I'm taking a spare t-shirt. I always take a spare set of underwear. So if I get delayed and I have to stay overnight in London, I'm covered for clothes. And I'm taking the yarn for this project, and I'm taking the yarn for my flower project, and I'm packing all that in a compression packing cube. But it's one of those that you can suck the air out of it. I bought it earlier this summer. I used it last time I went to Norway. It means I can fit more into my backpack, but also it does make my backpack a bit heavier. I'm also taking, instead of taking my laptop this time, I actually treated myself to a new 10-inch tablet and a separate proper keyboard, because I don't like using the typing on the screen. So I'm thinking about taking that to do a little bit of work in Norway. I think mostly I'm going for 30 days, so really I should probably take my laptop and do some proper work while I'm there. But realistically, I'll probably mainly be doing emails, my podcast, newsletter, that kind of thing. I'm not intending to do a lot of pattern writing while I'm there, I don't think. I can't access the pattern writing software I use or my charting software on my tablet. So I could write a pattern in Word if I finish something that I need to write up, and then just copy it into my pattern writing software when I get home. But this is takes a lot less space in my backpack, and I can use it for watching Netflix and all that kind of stuff as well, YouTube and things. And it's just a lot easier to carry. And I actually bought a separate full-size keyboard, but it's like completely flat, so that packs up really well as well. So I'm going to take that, because these two together is taking up a lot less space than my laptop would. So I'm going to take that with me for doing work in Norway, which means I have a little bit more place in my suitcase. But I also am not sure that I have room for this to go in like that. This may have to go into my compression vacuum pack. I'm waiting for some stuff I've ordered online to arrive today. So once that's here, I can get everything in my suitcase, in my backpack, and actually pack it up and see what I got space for. If I have got space for this, I'll work on this on the way over. I have a long train journey to London, and then a shorter train journey from London at the Stansted Airport. Don't have as many hours waiting at the airport as I normally do, because normally I fly out in the evening, but I catch the first or the second train up to London, because I always worry about there being delays on the train, and then I'm rushing to get to the station. So it's easier. I just find it easier to go early in the morning, and then I'm there, and I don't mind spending 4, 5, 6 hours waiting at Stansted. Yes, it's tedious because it's a horrible airport and it's really, really hot and really crowded, but it's not too bad. I'd rather do that than stressing about missing my flight. But this time, my flight, instead of being at 6:15, which it was last time, is now 3:15. And I will get there, if everything's on time with my train, I should get there by 11:30, maybe slightly earlier. So I have plenty of time. But if my train's delayed, then you'll start eating into that time very quickly. So I just hope everything goes to plan. So I do have quite a lot of time to work on this on the way. I don't know if I can fit this in my backpack like this, or whether it'll take up too much space and it'll have to go in my compression vacuum cube thingy. So I'll make a decision about that today. The other thing I worked on while I was away is more starflowers from my starflower project. So this is my Cool Woolings 2024 yarn advent. So I still got some blocking downstairs. I have done this color, all 11. I get 11 out of each 20 gram mini. So they're 20 gram 4-ply. And I get 11 of these little star flowers out of each skein. So I've done this color. I've done this color, which I'd already done some before I went to Scotland. So I did the last 2. And then I've also done 11 of this green. I've also done 11 of a hot pink, which is slightly lighter than that hot pink. It's just like a shade lighter, really. But they're still drying. So I blocked as many as I could last night. So I did 4 colors in total while I was away. 3 of them I did 11 of each. And then this one I did 32, so 33, 34 star flowers in total. It was all I worked on the way home on yesterday. All the car crocheting time, car passenger time was taken off by crocheting star flowers. And as a result, my shoulder is hurting a bit today because I don't think crocheting in the car is that comfortable. But that's fine. I had my knitting deadline project in the back of the car, so I could have worked on that, but I wanted to get those last 2 colours I'd taken with me to Scotland finished. So I did that on the way home. The pink ones and the rest of the green ones are still blocking. I can only block 21 at a time because I only have enough pins to block 21. So I blocked 21 last night when we got home, and then I unpinned them this morning and blocked the others, but they're not quite dry yet, so that's why I haven't got them here. And I need to, normally I film this on a Wednesday or Thursday, usually Thursday. I'm filming them at like Friday lunchtime, and it's got to be up by 3 o'clock this afternoon. So I haven't got a lot of time, but I'm going to take the rest of the yarn to Norway with me. So let me show you what the colours I got left. So how many colours have I done now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 colours. I'm nearly halfway. So I'm taking, these were 3 colours I took to Scotland with me but didn't have time to do. So they are in my, I need to show you that. They are in my little project bag, my portable project bag, which is, if I can't work on my crochet sweater on the way to Norway, I'll work on this because this doesn't take up that much space. And I got 3 skeins, so I'll probably wind one this afternoon. I might try and do 1 colour this weekend over Saturday and Sunday. I don't know what we're doing this weekend. We ended up leaving the dog in Wales with my daughters. We were supposed to pick him up on the way home yesterday, but we would have gotten home so late, probably not till midnight if we had. And one of my daughters is coming home next week, middle of next week. So we said, can the dog stay for a few more days and you bring him home? Which she said yes to. So we didn't have to do that. So I'm going to do any dog walking or anything this weekend. Tomorrow I'm going to spin class. And then I got a massage in the afternoon, which I'm so glad I booked because like I said, my shoulder and my neck is really tight, especially across here and at the front here. So I need a massage. And then I don't know what we're doing on Sunday. So we might go out and do something, in which case I'll take 1 ball of this, just pop it in my handbag. And then if we go to a coffee shop, I can do a bit of crochet. And then the rest of the colours are, so I have 3 in there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the 3 I had in there, these 3, not that keen on this one. I might leave that to last. And then I have this as well. So when I got the YarnAddict from Cool Woolings in 2024, I know there were problems last year. I had no problems in 2024. I was very happy. But I only ordered 12 days, so half the YarnAddict, because I already had 2 other ones, I think. So after Christmas, a lot of indie dyes will put up pre-order for their YarnAddicts for the Christmas just gone. So they'll show a picture which reveals all the colours. In fact, I'll pop a picture up on the screen. I saved the picture that Cool Woolings shared on their social media, and I'll pop it up on the screen here. And then I'll pop up a picture of the ones that I got. So I only got 12 days. So when January last year, when she put up the pre-order for the remaining missing days, she did one for the whole Advent, and then she did one for just the missing half. For those who us only went for 12 days. So I ordered that, and that came at some point, I can't remember when. And it came in 2 packs like this. Yeah, so it must have been 13, because it's 25 days. So I'm gonna take these out. Sorry about the rustling, and take this with me. I don't like orange, and that's very orange, so I'm thinking about leaving that at home. So to me, Advent should be 24 days, but some are 25 days. So I want to see if I can do this at a 24-day one. So I'm going to take these, plus the 3 I have in my project bag, and leave this one at home. What I'm basically making is, I'm hoping to make enough little flowers to put them together to make some kind of garment. Hopefully I'll have enough to make a sweater for me, otherwise a poncho, I think. But I want to make all of them before I try to put them together and decide. I don't know whether to just have it like, if it's a poncho, I'll do it like a rectangle and then I'll just sew it together at the top here. So then I'm probably do it so that it just fades across the whole length of the rectangle. But if it's a garment, I don't know whether to do a fade or whether to mix them up, because obviously I'll have fewer on the sleeves compared to the bodies. I don't know yet what to do. So I'm going to take all this to Norway with me. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm in Norway for 30 days. So if I try and do one colour for every 2 days, then I should be able to finish these while I'm in Norway. And then when I come back, I can put them all together. I did discuss with the friends we were staying with in north of England, because she's also a knitter and crocheter. And I did tell her about this project because I was working on some of the flowers while I was there. And I did say about taking the ones I've already made to Norway, so I could start putting it together in Norway. But the thing is, I would need to put it out on a flat surface to decide. Now I can do that on my dining room table and just leave it there. If I did that on my mum's dining room table, I would not be allowed to leave it there. So, and also this does take up quite a lot of space. So I'm going to leave these at home and then take all the spare yarn. This spare yarn will go in my vacuum bag, so it'll get sucked down to less space. Before I tell you about the final project I'm taking to Norway with me, I might take 2 more projects. But before I tell you about that, my sister-in-law lives quite close to a little seaside village called Foundatoin on the Moray coast. Beautiful little fishing village. We went there for a walk, took my father-in-law. We'd been taking him out for lunch. Funny story, the pub we went to, Monday lunchtime was their seniors lunch day, and senior was apparently over 60, and my husband turned 60 in May. So I stayed with my 2 seniors, and my father-in-law and my husband both ordered from the senior menu. I did not. I probably could have got away with pretending I was 60. They didn't ask for any ID. They probably would have let me order from the senior menu, but I ordered from the proper menu because I'm not yet 60. I have 3 years and 2 weeks to go. So I'm not ordering from the senior menu till I turn 60. So anyway, after we've been for lunch, we went to Foundatoin for a walk. I'll pop a video on the screen. It was slight drizzle for part of the time we were there. But it's a beautiful seaside village. We didn't walk very far because my father-in-law can't walk that far, and it started raining. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place. So the other thing I took with me to Scotland but didn't do anything with is this beautiful purple sequin yarn. It is called Utopia 4-ply, and it's from Belinda Harris-Reid, who owns the Knitting Hotel in Dawlish. And by the way, I am teaching at the Knitting Hotel again next year, and there are I think there are still availabilities for some of the retreats next year. I don't know if my workshops have availability or not, but Knitting Hotel is always linked below, so just contact them and ask them what they have available. Last year, Belinda, who's half Indian, went to India and brought back loads of this beautiful yarn in some absolutely fabulous colours. And when I was teaching there at the end of last year, I asked her if I could buy one of these. She said I could have it as a present. So very nice. Thank you very much, Belinda, if you happen to be watching. And I haven't known what to do with it. And a few times I've thought about it. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to do a shawl. I don't know what type of shawl yet. I think I know the shape, but I haven't decided 100% yet. I was going to wind it before I went to Scotland. But then I thought, just in case I don't get time to knit with it, it's easier if it's like this, if I take it to Norway, because this takes up less space. So I packed some needles for it, packed a project bag for it. That's going to go in my vacuum seal bag. So when I get to Norway, I will try and finish the crochet sweater first. If I find that it's hurting my neck and shoulder a bit to crochet that much, I will wind this and start this. I'll just pop it around my knees and wind it, unless I can persuade my dad to hold it for me. He might fall asleep and drop it. That's what I'm worried about, so I probably won't. But I'll take this to Norway with me, try and finish a little shawlette thing while I'm there, and write the pattern. So when I come home, I can finish the pattern and get it off to my tech editor. So So that is one project I'm taking with me, but I thought if I don't wind it, yes, it'll take longer to wind it by hand in Norway because my mum doesn't have a Swift and ball winder, I don't think, but it'll pack up easier like this. So I'm taking that with me. I did consider winding it and actually working on it while I'm traveling, but I think I'll just take it like that because it'll take up less space. Okay, I think that is it. I've shared all the stuff we did in Scotland. I've shared all the stuff I knitted and crocheted in Scotland. This is really becoming a knitting and crochet podcast now, isn't it, rather than just knitting. I'm really enjoying crochet at the moment. That's why I've changed my intro to say knitting and crochet, because I've started teaching crochet workshops again as well. I'm teaching crochet workshops at Yarndale Knit and Stitch in London and Harrogate. So do go and check those out if you're into crochet. Earlier this year, when I went to Stitch Festival, I was teaching that in London in March. I stopped by the Pigeon's Nest stall and got one of these fabulous crochet hooks. They're supposed to be ergonomic, and I fancied trying them, so I got one, but she didn't have the design I wanted in the size I wanted, so I got this. It's 3mm, which I haven't used since I got this. So just before I went to, like a few days before I went to Scotland, I ordered another one in the 3.5mm, because my last two projects plus this one, so the 3 projects I've been working on recently, I've been using 3.5mm. Now, I hadn't intended to get the same design, but I did find, this has been my only complaint, I found the website, it has the pictures of all the different designs and it has a drop-down menu, but when you choose something from the drop-down menu, it doesn't necessarily bring that design up. So I actually thought I'd ordered another design. I was trying to work out what each of the designs were called. I didn't realize that I'd ordered the same one that I already had. Different sizes and the actual hooks are different, so that's fine. I like this design, but I thought I'd ordered another one. Anyway, this is 3.5mm, which is great. So, and the other thing I don't like is the fact that it doesn't have the size on the hook, so you have to use a needle gauge thing to work out the size. So I did use this last night. I am thinking about doing like a crochet hook review. I do have loads of knitting needle reviews on my YouTube channel, and I'm thinking about doing some on my favorite crochet hooks. So last night when I was working on finishing off a couple of these, I did use this hook, and it is very, very nice to work with. It's very light and it's comfortable to work with, so I'm taking that with me to Norway. And then I also ordered, because I thought, well, I'm placing an order, I'll get a couple other things. I ordered 2 pencils, just these fabulous pencils in various neon colors. I got a couple of pink ones at Stitch Festival. So I got one that says "Shh, I'm counting," and one that says just one more row. So they are fabulous. Love those. And then what else is in here? So some advertising. She's going to be at Yarndale, which I will be there as well, so I might look out for a couple of the crochet hooks. And Ravel Autumn, which is in September, and then it's just a Pigeon's Nest thingy. So yeah, I'm very excited about that, and pop those in the bin. That's it. Talk to you about Scotland, what I was knitting and crocheting, what I bought. Didn't visit a yarn shop in Scotland, just wasn't enough time. And don't forget to check out the reduced section on my website. There are some fabulous yarns still there, reduced quite a lot. And don't forget 15% off my Successful Brioche online course. And I'll pop the link below with the discount code, and I'll pop the discount code on the screen as well. That's valid until I think it's next Thursday, so but everything will be below. Then next Friday there'll be another offer on one of my online courses, so do check back, and there'll be one the week after, and that's it. So do check back for that. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter, follow me on social media, everything is linked below. All my workshops, all that kind of stuff is also linked below. That's it. I'm going to go and edit this video and have lunch and see if my post has arrived so I can finish packing for Norway, and then chill for the rest of the day, I think. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.